So this is Powerhouse Church in Wyckoff, and they are kind enough to allow our organization to come in once a week and have skate sessions. So they've got, as you can see, they've got a concrete floor, and we just pull out all their chairs and bring in some of our ramps, and this is what we call a skate club.
So every skate park is unique in their own style and approach to how they want the park to be laid out. Some skate parks, they're more focused on street. There are a lot street-oriented parks, and there's a lot of transition-oriented parks. A lot of them are different depending on the area that the skaters skate in. So some towns are more transition-oriented, whereas some skate parks are more street-oriented. So that all comes back and reflects on how the skaters skate, like what they really appreciate and what they typically skate.
There's a lot of examples in our area of parks that are really good and parks that are really, really bad. There's some parks even within like a few minute drive, like Mawa, Ringwood, and they're not well built, they're not well taken care of, and nobody uses them. Just the other day, I was with my staff guys and we were talking about skating a park for somebody's birthday, and we went all the way up to Nyack because, and we didn't even consider like, all right, well there's Mawa, like that didn't even like come into our list of like options. I took some guys on a trip a few months ago. We went down to Long Branch, and the park was just packed. The neat thing about it was so well designed that even though there was like 100 kids there were no accidents. Kids weren't colliding into each other because it was well designed to the point where like there's flow, and like guys are skating in different guys are skating different obstacles at different times and waiting their turn. And so within skateboarding, this natural like skate etiquette kind of starts where guys just take their turn and they wait, and people are friendly, and it's really a very community oriented activity.
Some of the good skate parks that are around in the area are Nyack Skate Park, Maplewood Skate Park, Livingston Skate Park, Elizabeth Skate Park, that's a really good park as well. Passaic Skate Park, that's pretty good. It's in a little rough area, but it's still a good park. Long Branch Skate Park, Polonia Skate Park. But all those skate parks are pretty far away. Like Nyack from Pequannock is like a good 45 minutes, so it's tough for any kid to have his parents just drive him to a skate park and then have to pick them up an hour and a half later when it took them 45 minutes to drive up, another 45 minutes down, and then they have to drive another 45 minutes back up to pick them up. So it's pretty tough that there's no parks that are centralized in the North Jersey area that can accommodate some of the main skaters in that region.
They got tired of being told, get out of here. Instead of taking a hike, 3 middle school students turned a class project into a plan for a playground. Now they and their friends can indulge in their passion. News 12 New Jersey's Keith Irizarry checks out the young trio on a mission.
Meet Chris, Andy, and Jacob. They're 8th graders in Pequannock, and they love to skate. As you can see, these kids are pretty talented with their skateboards. They're also talented in the classroom, where they took a simple class project and turned it into a possible major town venture. And it all started because they felt unwanted.
We just think there should be a spot. It's just like a football field or like any other sport. We just think it should have a spot that we can do the sport without getting in trouble.
The other places where we skateboard are like all over the town, and we always get like in trouble by the police for skateboarding. And the only skate park that's around here is like 25 minutes away.
The 3 boys have won over their teachers with this idea. It was originally a project for a program called Fight for Action.
My teachers in my school have been very supportive of me. They've done countless things to help. I'm sure it wouldn't have gotten this far without them.
If it all goes right, the boys will get their dream.
Seeing something that was in your head come to real life, it's amazing.
In Pequannock, Keith Irizarry, News 12 New Jersey.
Yeah, so it's kind of like there's always been, there's been different facilities for people who are interested in like tennis or football or soccer. We have how many baseball fields in town? I don't even know. But, there's never been a different area that's been designated for people who want to do something different than maybe what's considered mainstream. So, and then the thing is, if they're going to do it too, they want to do it right. You're not going to build like half a football field or like no goalposts or something. It'd be
Yeah,
like that's
exactly.
good because then the kids aren't going to use it. So it's got to be done right. You know. I mean, I don't know.
feel like I've seen that happen in other towns.
Yeah, like Pompton Lakes, right?
Lakes,
Yeah.
exactly. Like they built a skate park and kind of half-assed it, and then it wouldn't get used as much as they anticipated, and they kind of say, "Oh, I guess there wasn't really a need," you know.
And now it's gone, right?
And now it's gone.
Yeah. And
Did
even that, people would still use
Yeah,
it.
we still
crappy as
went
it was.
there all
Yeah.
the time once we could drive there, because it was close. I mean, it was pretty. I almost said it wasn't great, but it was pretty bad. But it was still something,
Yeah.
you know.
The Pequannock Skatepark Committee started with my son Chris and two of his friends, Andy and Jake, who were assigned a middle school project on creating some kind of project that could actually be implemented in the community. And of course, as avid skateboarders from elementary school years, their idea was to come up with a skate park plan for the town of Pequannock. Seeing how realistic it was, the parents of the three boys, and then soon the effort grew to multiple children, multiple parents, worked on trying to get a skate park built in Pequannock.
I feel like skateboarding and alternative sports, really specifically alternative sports, are, it's not a fad. It's something that, like back in maybe the 80s, it was kind of up and down, but for at least 20 years now, it's very stable. And I'm confident of that because you see some of the big contests these days where guys are making like $200,000 for first place. You know, in the 80s it was like $200 for first place. And so you can see the industry has come a long way. And when you've got the little kids that are aspiring to be these pro athletes, the sport itself is stable, if you want to call it a sport. So I think it's just skateboarding, scootering, BMX, biking, it's just growing from here. And the need for those kids in that demographic, it's not going to go away. You know, we really have to do something. And I think we're seeing the more progressive towns catch on to this. And before you know it, it's going to be, everywhere.
About 7 years ago, the idea of a skate park was brought up. And at that time, I spoke to our PBA representatives who had agreed that if it came to fruition, they would support the construction of the park with a donation. At that time, our feeling was that anything that gives the town's children something to do would be beneficial. It's also a good way for them to exercise and use up some energy. And we thought that it would be good. It would give them something to do and keep them out of trouble, quite frankly.
I've seen kids make poor choices with their lives when they have less to do. When kids are bored, that's when they start doing things like drugs, graffiti, things that they can get in a lot of trouble for. But when they have someplace to go, something to do, something constructive to do with their time, it's going to keep them out of trouble. I've done like kind of an impromptu survey with a lot of these kids, and I've asked them like, where do you hang out? When you're not here, when you're not skating with us, where do you hang out? And the kids are just like, basically wherever like I can get away with the most stuff. Like whoever's parents aren't home, whoever doesn't care what we're doing, we go to that kid's house. The more a town can give kids outlets for their time, the better.
One of the questions that we got frequently when we were trying to get the skate park built in Pequannock was, is it going to attract trouble? Are the kids there going to be, trashing the place, drinking, smoking, whatever? I acknowledge, right, there's a concept out there that, and I think it's wrong, to label skateboarders as that. And I would say that knowing so many of them over the years that my son has been skateboarding, I've gotten to meet so many of his friends, and they actually are a really good group of people. And I've taken him to so many places, not even in this area, just even on vacation. If we go on vacation, we go and find the local skate park, and we've gotten to see and meet so many different people. And what I find is the camaraderie with skateboarders is actually one that you don't often see even with you know, just in general, they're always supporting each other, encouraging each other to get the next trick or the next, you know, thing that they're trying to accomplish. And the other interesting thing is that there's no age barriers between them. The 30-something-year-old is helping the 20-something-year-old, and the 20-something-year-old is helping the teenager. And Chris has even helped, you know, kids that are 5, 6 years old that are tooling around the skate park on their skateboard or their little scooter. So, you know, the conception that they're troublemakers, I think, is very ill-founded, and I can see that from experience.
Is a skate park going to attract graffiti and the riffraff? If it does, it's not the skaters that are doing it. I've never seen my friends, or, you know, in all my years of skateboarding, I've never seen skaters do the graffiti in a skate park, and it's just kids that are bored.